Welcome to the Old Goalies podcast, brought to you by White Glove Goalkeeping. New music for the Old Goalies is provided by Stream Beats. Listen on Spotify. Old Goalies is not intended for goalkeepers under the age of 17. Thanks again for listening to the Old Goalies with your hosts, Greg Deutsch, Pat Johnston, and Eric Vaughter. On this episode, we welcome guest Stan Anderson from Camp Shutout.
Welcome into another episode of Old Goalies. I got to tell you, tonight I'm excited because we have a guy who is a absolute legend in the goalkeeping world because of, and I know you've heard of this if you have anything to do with goalkeeping. He's the owner and founder of Camp Shutout, Stan Anderson. Stan, thanks for joining us. I am actually in the lobby of a hotel in Baltimore, and I welcome in Pat Johnston and Greg Deutsch, our normal panelists. And Stan, thank you for taking the time to spend with us and talk goalkeeping, which we all enjoy. But of course, with you, it's special for me because I will tell my Stan Anderson story, my Camp Shutout story, and then I'll get off. But so when I was driving up to Ohio once a week to coach up at the Galaxies, I kept having all these goalkeepers who had Camp Shutout t-shirts on, right? And so, they're warming up and stretching and stuff. So I'm walking around and talking to them. I'm like, well, how is Camp Shutout? Will you tell me about Camp Shutout? Oh, EV, it's the greatest place ever. You gotta go. It's the best camp ever. And, and like one guy tells you that and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like the whole, like 5 or 6 of them are like, okay, I gotta go. So I get in touch with Bushy, who does the gloves for you guys.
Yep.
I was like, I want to go up and see Camp Shutout, and I know you do too, Pat. So I go up there, and sure as shit, it is unbelievable. It is a week of total goalkeeper immersion, where everybody you see, if you're a camper, is a goalkeeper guy or girl. That's what they live for. You go to, there's 300 or 400 of them. You go to the field with them. All the staff is this. I mean, it's unbelievable. And we have the guy that brought it up we have the guy that built it with us tonight. And we're so thrilled to have him here. Stan, thanks for joining us.
Evie, that's so nice, man. And to hear those words from you, as you know, you're on my Mount Rushmore. So I'm humbled to hear that, man.
That's a crumbly mountain, Stan.
That's a great mountain, and you know it. That's a kick-ass mountain. I appreciate those words. We tend to have a good time, and it was a blessing for us to have you with us.
Well, it was my pleasure, and I want to get back up there again. But at this point in the show, I will turn it over to Greg Deutsch. I don't know, Stan, if you're aware, but Greg Deutsch is the Mike Wallace of soccer interviewing. So
yes.
Make sure, just remember, in this day and time, everything you say lives forever. So
I love it.
All right, Bone, take it away, buddy.
Welcome, Stan. Thank you for being on the show. Evie, let's go back to your story. What were you expecting, right? You got all the hype. You're driving up there with Bushy. What were you expecting? And was it bigger than life to you? I mean, I haven't been there. Pat hasn't been there. I've seen the website. It's amazing. You just sit there and go, oh my God, that many kids. So share with us a little bit. Yeah. Share with us a little bit what that was like.
So like I said, Dan basically takes over the town, and he rents out the whole Holiday Inn and Convention Center, and there's like 300 goalkeepers from like 9 years old to 19 years old. And then you got the college, you got like 50 or 60 college staff working, right?
Yeah.
And it's total goalkeeping all the time. The kids get up in the morning, they all walk to the field, which is like 3 blocks away. So you got like a little herd of goalkeepers, all walking to the field. Not me and Bush, of course. We had a golf cart, which was great. But
yes, you did.
They're all walking. They're all walking to the field, and they train all day long, and they go back and they have lunch, and they love it. The kids absolutely love it, and it's that. And you guys have heard me say this for years, that it's my personal philosophy with goalkeeping coaching is, you can work their nuts off as long as they're having fun.
Yeah.
Right. You have to inject fun into the whole thing because they're not all going to be Tim Howard. They're not all going to be Pat Johnson. They're not all going to be studs when they finish playing. But they're training. Most of them are training to make their high school teams and make their their ECNL teams and stuff. And they just love it. They work their asses off, but they have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And there's 300 or 400 of them.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And so that's what I took away from the 3 days that I was up there.
Love it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first, before we dive into how he got started, I want to share some things with everybody here. Evie, you and I know, Pat, since you've been joining the program, sometimes we get a special guest, and this is certainly one. This is a guy who's been in 3. He's in 3 Hall of Fames, right? It's pretty good to get him 1, right? 2, but 3. First, Stan, congratulations. I mean,
Thank you.
Palatine High School, UW Parkside, Wisconsin soccer coaches. I mean, very, very, incredible. I was going to ask you, you grew up playing goalkeeper. You played at Parkside. UW Parkside, All-American there. Evie, he played in the Senior Bowl. Remember that event? Right? Where did that thing go? Pat, I don't know. Did you play in that ever?
I did. We played at Disney. Actually, we played at the University of Florida, but we stayed and went to Disney. It was all part of the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, Stan got to play in New Mexico.
Two other guests that we've had have played in the Senior Bowl as well. Danny Gaspar and Roland. Roland and Danny played at Roland Paiva, who played with us at Warren Roland. Those guys played the same year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, but this was interesting because it was held in New Mexico. Normally it was in the South, as Pat, you stated, Evie, you stated. I want to ask, what was that feeling like? Obviously, it was a heck of an honor. And did you know it was going to be in New Mexico, or was this a last minute thing?
No, it was a last minute thing. There were 5 goalkeepers. There were 3 on our team, 2 on the other. So that's tough to break down minutes. I got 25 in the second half of my game. Had a couple good opportunities to make saves, which was fun always. But it was a really weird time because Division I teams, Division II teams, national champions were all there. Aiden Gagnielson was our coach, legend over at Sangamon State.
Yeah.
Wow, what guys like Ezekiel Doe on his team and among others. And Eric Dickerson was down in our hotel. I remember my teammate from Parkside was also selected. Dickerson was hitting on his girlfriend. So, things like that. It was just wild, just a different time. And, to see the level of competition, I still have the NAIA, NAIA certificate on the wall. And there's some names on there that I just go, wow, to this day. And it was a blessing. Unbelievable to be, in that environment, play in that game. Very, very good players. I think one of the Moser boys was there from St. Louis. It was great. It was great. You took a deep dive finding that one. Man, you're right, Evie. You're right.
I know, man. I know. No stone left unturned, buddy.
Holy cow. Love
it.
it.
Thank you for the compliment. Wow.
Absolutely.
So an interesting story when I showed up for my Senior Bowl, Stan. Stan, I got one on you. No, this is my girlfriend lived in Connecticut, and we were off for Christmas break, so that was when the Senior Bowl was, and I sprained both my ankles ice skating, and I showed up like so hobbly. But ended up getting a half in. I think our coach at the time, Jim Rudy, was
okay.
Jim Rudy.
Yeah.
Was
There we go.
Yeah, man.
But that's what I remember about. I still have the mug. As a matter of fact, I can walk over and get it and show you guys the mug I got.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mug. Wow.
Yeah, Budweiser. Awesome. It was a Budweiser Senior Bowl mug. It's quality stuff, man. Yep. Yeah.
Look at that.
King of beers.
It's still in great shape.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
There we go.
We got an Umbro visor, but you know.
So you end up playing one season with the Dayton Dynamo in the NPSL. Who at that time was the coach? And the reason I asked that is I'm a Cincinnati guy. I'm wondering if it was Terry Nichols back then, but I'm not sure.
JD, it was Dolinsky.
Oh,
John
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Now, how did you get signed and why only one season?
Yeah, those are great questions. And the reality is that I wanted to play. I wanted to be a pro. I really did. I didn't know if I had the ability. I mean, it's a lot of ways now to be seen, and there wasn't back then. And JD knew me through the Croatian Eagles club. And so that was good. So he was already aware of me. And then one of their goalkeepers went down, and Tony Pena, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Great goalkeeper.
Yeah, great goalkeeper. Yeah, absolutely.
So another St. Louis guy was their number 2, and they brought me in. And they set me up with a family in Dayton. I'll leave that name out, but holy cow. I was in a side bedroom. The house smelled like cat urine from top to bottom.
Whoa.
I got picked up by Pena every morning to go to training. He never trained. He was injured. And I did. And John decided to sign me after maybe a week of trial, which was all great. And at the end of the day, I realized that, I was already dating my future wife for 3-4 years at that time. And I wanted to get married ultimately. And I didn't see that end game to be able to provide anyway. I didn't see it through the NPSL. Others did. I didn't. And so I don't know if I would have been signed again. I'm not saying I would have been some, top 10 in the history of the NPSL or the AISA or any of the other leagues. But at the end of the day, I just didn't see it. And so John, once Pena came back, I was released. But I had zero interest in trying to hook on with the Wave or the Chicago whatevers, Power at that time, the Horizons at some point. I mean, it didn't seem to be. So for me, it was okay. Let's see what we need to do to get our life going. And then I fell into coaching after that. After I went into the workforce.
Yeah, share with us how you got involved in coaching, because your resume is incredible, which we'll get into here in a few minutes. I was just wondering, when you were going through college, did you want to be a coach?
Could I interject?
Yeah, Pat, absolutely.
Go hijack it, Pat.
Yeah, just 2 questions about your professional career, Stan.
Yeah.
Okay. First one is you were a pro.
Appreciate that.
So you can sleep every night and say I was a pro.
Yeah.
Now, the more important question, the first one was a statement. This is the important one here.
Yep.
Did all your checks clear, or did you ever have one balance?
I think I was paid in Stubby's dollars for a local restaurant. I don't know if I was ever paid. Jerry Butcher, rest in peace, maybe. I don't know. I doubt he's still with us.
He's not.
I doubt I ever got a dollar from him. I think I did, and it might have been like $100 a week or something, because I had free lodging and everything else. But oh boy, what a time! And in this house somewhere, I have a 30-page journal that I kept, and I kept every single minute of the days that I went through, and I have that somewhere. And someday I'm going to publish that for like 2 people to read. Wow, what an interesting time! What an interesting time!
Okay.
Man.
Well, Pat can certainly help you about that, writing a book. I don't know. Did you know, Stan, he has written a book?
Fantastic.
Pat, I'll give you a little plug. Go for it.
it was actually came out 10 years ago, Stan. I've been to 8 World Cups, some European Cup, and all of that. And so it goes back right to the start of the show when we were talking about Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
And who thinks that far ahead in the future? It's like all I was thinking about was the next day and where I was going and how I was going to get a ticket. And pretty much that's what the game is about, is spontaneous gratification in a World Cup environment. So
love it.
The Odyssey of a Soccer Junkie, Amazon.com.
Highly recommended. Highly recommended. Great.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Fantastic.
So get back to.
How did I get into coaching?
Yes.
That was I'm a son of an administrator, a high school administrator. He was athletic director. Chick Anderson, Palatine High School. They named the stadium after him. I had to go through school with my dad as the AD, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You know, in retrospect, obviously it was a blessing. And rest in peace to him as well. But I was the youngest of 7, so I never saw him coach. Ooh. I had an older brother who was a really good athlete, so athletics I knew I wanted to do. So that's what kept me in it. And then once I finished, I didn't really know for sure coaching was a pathway. But there's some names that you guys are going to remember. Alex Mihalovic, he was my high school senior year coach. He had me coaching as early as senior year in high school at some of his events. Then Gerardo Pignani at Fremd High School, who's an Italian legend, and he's been around forever, and he's still in the game. And he was the opposing, the rival high school coach. So in 1993, he gave me a call and asked me to join his staff at Fremd High School, which was like blasphemy because I went to Palatine and that's in the same city. So you're not supposed to go coach for the rival, Celtics Rangers. And so I did. And 93, 94, 95 was with him. It was a great learning environment. It really was. Learned so many things that I still do today, I'm sure, but I just don't even realize it. And then from there, the college game called and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Share with us, just like you say, though, it wasn't just boom, boom, boom to get in the college game. I mean, that's a little bit harder. Pat's been a former college coach, obviously, so is EV. Share with us how you even maneuver that.
Sure. Well, in 95, it came to 96, actually, and it was my first year. And a guy that I'd already been playing with for the Croatian Eagles was playing for the Eagles. He was playing as a pro as well. And at the end of the day, he was an assistant coach at UWM at the time. And so he said if he ever got a head job, that he wanted me to be his assistant. And so I said, great. I didn't seek it. He sought me, which I was very appreciative of. And then once he got that job, he called me, and it was at UW Green Bay, and I'm from Chicago. So I told him no because I wanted to coach in America. And so he understood. And one thing led to another. And about 2 months later, Brian Tompkins got the Yale job. So UWM brought this guy back, and he then asked me again, and I was well familiar with UWM, much more so. And I joined UWM staff in 96, and we never really struggled there. We had one bad year in 98, but otherwise every year was really, really good. And in particular, 01 through 05 was really good. 5 NCAA tournaments, 4 NCAA advancements, always played against the number 1 team in the country, it seemed like. So that was a bummer. But at the end of the day, we moved on, and that job led to Marquette, and then ended up at Loyola, and then Madison and UIC, and Camp Shutout's grown in the interim. So,
yes, obviously you've done a lot of club coaching as well. I think what I'd like to hear from you is your story. Wait till you hear this, guys. He's been in, and correct me if I'm wrong, Azteca Stadium to coach.
Yeah. Got a draw as well.
So share the little background of that, because, you know, we, or at least me, I only know two people who've been there, you and Bushy. And so, Pat, you've been there? I mean,
yeah, it's in my book.
Okay, sorry, Pat. Sorry. It's been a while since I read it.
Three.
Okay, three. All right.
There
Anyway,
we go.
give us a little background, on who are you coaching and how you even ended up there.
Sure, it was with the Chicago Fire Academy and EV. Damn, you're right, man. Holy cow, Greg is the bizzle. So we're with the Chicago Fire Academy, and it's the MLS Liga MX Challenge. And I want to say it was sub 15 or sub 16, as they called it, U15, U16. So 8 teams, 4 MLS, 4 Liga MX. And you advance out of your group, and then you win the semi, and then you go to the final. So we did, and we had a really, really good attacking player who was playing for us. I'm missing his name because he was basically guesting for us as part of the Chicago Fire brand, if you will. And so he was a great player, and he helped us on the attacking side. And ultimately, we get to the final against Pachuca, and we had won a national championship with the Chicago Fire at the Galaxy at StubHub, and that game was played outside. It might have been next to David Vanoli Field, and it was great. But when you're in Mexico, they don't fuck around. They take you inside Azteca. And that place was fully, everything was operational. This wasn't, okay, well, let's get this game on and get out of here. Halftime, there was probably 70 people taking care of the pitch. It was just a unique environment. You go in the visiting locker room, and there was one outlet about 12 feet high, and it had 2 plugs in it, and that was it. And there were no other outlets whatsoever. The grass was probably this long. I remember that there was a seat removed from our dugout that had a bolt sticking up, and I stepped on that. It almost went through my foot. Enrique, the Liga MX commissioner, I let him know about that in a fun way because he and I had a couple dinners together prior to the championship. Well, what the fuck, Enrique? I almost lost my foot. What kind of story would that be? But we go into that championship and we draw with Pachuca 1-1. We conceded real early on frankly a goalkeeper error on a bad goal kick, and then we drew level somewhere around the 60th or something, and then we went to pens, and I thought it was we didn't make the greatest of decisions, nor did our guys have the greatest of accuracy in shooting either. I think 2 of the first 4 missed the target completely, and so we ended up losing, but. We lose. Okay, no problem. They roll out everything onto Azteca, the ramps, the arches, everything.
Oh, my God.
And it's like, it's football. They're 15, 16 years old, but it was glorious, I mean, there was a couple hundred people there, I mean, it wasn't an unbelievably well-attended game, but it was Azteca and hand of God and the whole thing. And we drew, and we were bummed, and they got the result. And Pachuca was great as a team to compete against, and just on and on. But just absolutely surreal and unbelievable, and a great group of guys, and a great staff, and an unreal time.
That Azteca is huge, by the way. I think the capacity is 100,000 people. Amazing. So there were 200 people in there. It must have been like, like just these rows and rows of empty stuff, but still the atmosphere itself must have been stunning.
Yeah.
So Greg, I'm going to come to the present here for a moment. So Stan, all those gloves behind you.
Yeah.
Are those keepers you've coached that have signed these gloves and sent them to you?
Most everyone. Everyone.
That's
not
brilliant,
all.
dude. That's brilliant.
Not all. There are 3 or 4. I never coached Tim Howard. He's up there. So there are people like that, but it was a gift to me, and I'm like, I'm going to put that up. But most of them are, yes, Matt Pizdraowski and Matt Bersano and Aaron Kane, and I could go on. And what it is that you become a pro, and if you become a pro, I ask them to send me a glove, and so then it's easy. Just put it in a shadow box. You don't even need to secure it on. You just get it into the shadow box, and it stays put. And boom. Now Bushy's up there as well, and I coached Bushy for a short window. No pun intended, Bushy. But I had him for one game against the Revolution, and we won, a rare fire win. So that was good. It was great. It was back when the Fire, I think, were a little bit more competitive than they are now. And Bushy was in goal in the game, and it was great. It was great to get a win at the old Toyota Park, whatever it's called now, SeatGeek. But so I had a short spell with Bushy. Loved his professionalism. He got that from the guy in my upper left corner, EV. Absolute legend, and Bushy's professionalism was off the charts. So
what we're looking at, Stan, I'm gonna metaphorically speak here. I'm guilty of this from time to time.
Love it.
We're looking at your life's work, but honestly, we're looking at just the tip of the iceberg, and really just all the keepers whose gloves aren't up there, and the stuff you've done. I mean, it's I really I love looking at your background. You not so much, but your background very impressive, dude.
I agree. I've been trying to do this to cover me for this whole time, man. I'm getting
Pat,
aware.
well done.
You took a
good segment out of me, but that's okay. I like it. I was going to get into the glove wall, which is incredible. And Stan, thank you for showing a little bit more of that, because it is amazing. I want to go back to Azteca, because I want to know, when you entered the tournament, did you know the final was going to be there? And then what did the players think? I mean, was it like, this is Azteca? I mean, like the four of us are feeling, did they really embrace what the hell they were going to do? I mean, this is a once in a lifetime, thing that they were going to do.
Exactly.
And I just wonder what the mindset was.
I think for our Hispanic players, they fully understood.
Oh my.
They fully understood, For our domestic players at that age, I don't give them all the credit in the world. I love them, but I don't give them all the credit in the world that they understood that they were playing at Azteca. Many say the most hallowed ground in football. They could play, great players, and they did well. But I don't know that our American domestic players really understood that they were playing at Azteca and they were going to have a full match there. But we had plenty of Hispanic players on our team, and they fully understood. We also, it sounds cliche, but you have a game to play, so you step out on the ground and you go through warm-ups and you have kickoff and you have tackles and you hopefully have goals and you hopefully get a result. And so we still had to play the game. And for Pachuca, it was probably unique, I presume. I don't think that their U15, 16 players are playing at Azteca every weekend. So to get a result against them, it was not lost on me, because I'm not the biggest historian in the game, but I understood where I was and what we were doing. I clearly understood, that not many, if any, American teams had gone, at least versus Mexico, and gotten a result at Azteca, and we were able to get a draw against Pachuca, and we didn't suffer the game. For most of the game, we didn't suffer. We did early, but we also didn't suffer anything from the elevation. It didn't really, this was our maybe 7th or 10th day in Mexico City. So, and the mango outside the host hotel, the mango was the best mango I've ever had in my life. That mango, I would fly back to Mexico City for that mango.
Did you get filth in your nostrils and stuff from the pollution?
From the pollution? No. Yeah. But I loved driving around. See, they hosted us at a lovely hotel, and they took us out front, and our liaison said, none of you go anywhere alone. None of you go anywhere alone. This is not, the most safe place to be. He looked across the whole team, and then he gets to me and he says, well, you might be okay. Only because I'm a bigger guy, not because of any other reason. So anyway, our guys didn't, but where we drove around and they had the buses kitted out, our buses were logoed, just an unbelievable gesture from Liga MX. And so when we were driving around and seeing the small-sided games in between the interstate highways and such, all fenced in to be able to play small-sided football, just different things like that. It was just wow. And not to get too far ahead, but I was at probably the last qualifier of any significance between U.S. and Mexico, the most recent one, and we drew there. And Zach Steffen, it was one of his last appearances, I think, for the U.S. And I wouldn't say he had an unbelievable game, but it was very difficult to actually get into the stadium. There were like 5 checkpoints. My belt was taken off of me. My buddy had gotten us tickets, and I had 4 tickets, and my son couldn't go because his passport 6-month window, that thing. And so we gave our Uber driver a ticket to the game, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. We ended up with a spare ticket to the game, but we sat probably 15 seats, 15 rows behind the goal, and saw Claudio Reyna go on his jaunt. And so to see Azteca in so many different lenses, as a fan watching the U.S.-Mexico, as a coach being at the touchline, and Charlie Trout was coaching with us at that time, and just an unbelievable place to be and just absorb football.
Yeah, wow, what a story.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit, about Camp Shutout. It's been around 35 years. What made you want to get into camp business? And I wanted to ask you, when you were growing up, did you go to any camps, and who was, your mentor, and who had a big effect on you when you were being trained?
Man, my book is there. It is. Thought it was here. So you guys are aware of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So okay. I went 1 year to Doc's camp. It was my freshman year in college. Then I coached at it the next year. And then I was like, okay. And that was it. But it made an impression on me. I mean, he's another one that's on my Mount Rushmore. And it made an impression on me that, Friedel was there. And a lot of people, John Hollowell, and people that I ended up looking up to. And there were also some real pains in the ass and some freaking egos that were there as well. But there were more better people that I drew from. And so I thought, this is something that I thought I could do, not necessarily thinking at that time in anywhere near how Doctor does it. So our first year was 1989, and it was with the guy that I ultimately became a college coach with in 96. So you go back to 89, and he and I were together coaching camps. And he asked me, I was in college, I was in my redshirt year, my senior year is when I redshirted. And he asked me to run the goalkeeper portion, and I hand drew a logo that's in the house here somewhere. And it was the ball on the brick wall and hands coming through it and holding the ball. And one thing led to another. We drew 3 kids and an actor, and that was it. That was our first year. And then it's just grown from there. So 89 was our first year, 5 different decades. And I'm only 29 years old, so I don't know how the hell that happened, but.
So I've been dying to say this for a while.
Uh-oh.
No. And you can use this, Stan, but Evie, I was talking to Evie about this because I coach a couple keepers that have gone to your camp, and that's how I found out about it.
Great.
So we got Jesse Lydell, Owen Smith.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so
White glove.
Jesse's mom, Jill, was the one who told me about this place and what it was. And then I call EV and I'm like, EV, this Camp Shutout, they're talking about this thing. It sounds like the damn Sturgis of goalkeepers. And EV said, that is exactly what it is. Bikers have Sturgis, goalkeepers have Camp Shutout, you know?
There you go.
So, so I just became fascinated about this camp that sells out in 24 hours capacity, and every kid is lining up to come back. And it's like, gee, what is this guy got going on? So Maven, this is like goalkeeper crack, man. They can't get enough of this stuff. These kids that go, it's like, man, I'm going back. So anyway.
Well, you're very kind, and it's always tough to hear about the program and how do you respond and everything else. And I believe you me, coming from you men, I truly appreciate the words. It has been an organic process and growth, and I hope that we are doing the position well. I really hope that we are doing the position well. I know that we have talent that comes, and I'm appreciative of that. I know we have average talent that comes as well, and I'm appreciative of them and our staff and everybody else. But at the end of the day, I hope that we're honoring the position, and not just making it a fucking romper room or something. It's important to me to really. I mean, I'm not screwing around when I say that there are guys like EV that I know had his hands on countless legends in this country, and I'm not putting myself in that category by any means, but I understand the responsibility that you can't make a goalkeeper in a week. Well, you can certainly fuck up a goalkeeper in a week.
I'll tell you what, though, Stan, you can definitely ignite a keeper in a week too, though.
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
That's where I hope we're doing our job, and it's not lost on me that some kids don't get anything throughout the year, and so what they do get, they value, and to send me a clip of a save or to send me this or that and to credit the environment they were in is a special thing. And I'm humbled by it, and I hope I caretake it well.
Well, word on the street is you're doing a damn good job.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First, I want to know how you came. I heard the graphics and all that, but how did you come up with the name? And was it tough to come up with it? Like, did you come up with it and then, hey, I don't know, and play around with it? So share, again, that journey.
That's awesome. Dead easy. My senior year, we had 23 games and we had 17 clean sheets. And it was, at that time, it was just keep the damn ball out of the net and, clean sheet, and then do it again and do it again. That was the plan. And so ultimately, that's just what I came up with, was just, well, okay, shutout, clean sheet, and Camp Shutout. And it never even dawned on me of another name, like, at all. It was what it was. It was like, oh, Camp Shutout. And we had Wisconsin Parkside, I think, has had a decent little history of goalkeepers, and some that have had cups of coffee in MLS as well, and not easy to do from the Division II ranks. And so I was real proud, even at that time, of some of the records that we set. And it's what every goalkeeper aspires to, right? Is to keep a clean sheet. And you can't call it Camp Clean Sheet, because no one's coming to that. No mom is signing their kid up for Camp Clean Sheet. So Camp Shutout is what it was.
Yeah.
So Stan, take us through the first, 10 years of this camp, right? The first year you mentioned you had like 4 people. Talk to us the gradual buildup, what you thought was the success of it. And I know you're very humble, but when did you think, oh my gosh, that feeling like, I got to change something here, in a great way.
So Stan, first 10 years, but what the hell did you mean by you had 3 keepers and an actor?
Yeah. We literally had 3 goalkeepers register. I was coaching, and we had a nephew of one of the other field playing staff coaches, and he was just an actor. He wasn't there to do anything with the camp. So we absorbed him into what was then Camp Shutout's first year, so we could have pairs trained. And that was it. So we had 3 and an actor. I can't call him a goalkeeper because he never was. I'm sure I didn't turn him on. He's probably acting somewhere today, hopefully on film. But at the end of the day, that's what it was. That's really what it was. As far as Greg, it was an interesting window of time as it relates to camp and what we were doing. And you're really freaking good at these questions, dude. We were 3 kids, and then it was maybe 7, then 12, then 20. We capped at 30 for a long time. Yeah. And we had 3-4 staff total at 30. And what was happening is we were associated with this other field player program that brought in 90. Okay, so it was 90 and 30. That was fine. It was fine for a couple of years. But then what I realized was that we were drawing in generally a more elite goalkeeper than what they were drawing in as a field player. So we were drawing in the 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. The camp that we were aligned with was drawing in the 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds. Well, at the end of the day, when we were doing technical work in the morning and technical work in the afternoon, and then we would combine in the evenings, it wasn't utopia. It wasn't good. You got a 13-year-old going in on a breakaway and a 17-year-old that's built quite well coming out on that breakaway. A lot of bad things could have happened. They didn't, but it was then that I realized, shit, we have to we broke off to what we called the advanced sessions, and that's why it's called advanced today for the older kids. And we had 2 camps. Then we had our youth camp at 30, and that was generally 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old, maybe a 14-year-old goalkeeper. And then we started the advanced sessions, which was on our own, same location, but on our own. And we had 24 kids the first year. So now we had 30 plus 24, and that starts our growth. That 24 turned into 48 the next year. So then 30 became that 30. We still did that. And then we had 48. So now we had 78. So, another year or 2 of that 30 plus 50 and then 30 plus 70. And then we got to a point where we said, okay, well, we're just going to do our own camp. And we broke off and started doing our own program, and it grew exponentially when we were at Concordia, then we went to Marquette. We were at 200 kids on 2 turf fields, and they were having the time of their life, but we were walking 35 minutes to and from training. So that meant 35 minutes to 35 minutes back, 3 times a day. It was absolutely absurd on turf. There was one summer where it was 105 degrees. That was temperature. Ooh. Turf was obviously brutal, as you know. So we trained from 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning, and we trained 9 to 11 at night. Nothing at all during the day. Oh. That was one year. But the exponential growth happened when we moved to Stevens Point. And I remember, and Evie's been to Stevens Point, I was in one, I can walk you to that spot today and remember I was stepping over a bench and I thought I was walking back toward deeper in the facility, EV, but towards the hotel. So I'm looking towards the hotel, but I'm back on like to the right of the main field. And I thought, why not move the whole fucking thing here?
Yeah.
And I didn't know if we could because dollars and cents have to come into play, but we were at 200 kids and I was like, well, can we? So then I negotiated that, can we do it if we pay the same price as what we're paying at Marquette for lodging? Can we do it if we're paying the same price as what we're paying at Marquette for the fields? And then those things we negotiated out. And then boom, I was like, damn, plus there's an airport nearby. I didn't know that. CWA has become massive for us because we have 39 different states and 4 different countries, and a lot of kids fly into CWA. Well, 200 became 250, became 300, became 350, became 400, and this past summer 450, and next summer 650. And that's kind of the growth, and it's already sold out for next summer.
So where do you say? You say 650. Are we going to 700? Are you going to 700?
You're with me. You're with me. I love it, Greg.
You know what I'm saying? And the hardest part, I got to believe, since we've all worked camps, is instructors. Can you turn your back and trust that person that you hired, right? And so share some of those thoughts as you move forward.
Yeah. 500 we think is a point of where we top based on, we fill up 2 hotels plus 2 ancillary properties that have a good amount of people in them. So both Holiday Inn properties are ours for that week. So we're their largest client. So that's good. That's the 500 week. And so that's the advanced kids. And that'll be this coming 20th through the 25th. The 15th through the 18th is going to be our younger kids, and that's going to be 150 kids. So that's 500 plus 150, 650. We can grow that youth program up to 500. So if that means that we go for 1,000 kids over 9.5 days, my answer to that is this: is that A, why the hell not? B, if I am doing well by the position, then why the hell not? And as far as staff, I think, I hope, I pray, I pay well for the people that have been with us a long time. So Dougie Cardozi and Caitlin Kelly and Joe Zimka and Chris Dadian, and I could go on and on. My son Tony is growing into this business. He's at High Point University right now coaching, and he's going to overtake our youth. So your son's at Duke, right? So,
I had the opportunity to work with Tony last week.
Awesome.
It's been about 10 days or whatever, but not this weekend, but the weekend past, with the Carolina Corps. He had just taken over. He's the goalkeeper trainer for the Carolina Corps. And some of the old Greensboro guys are running that, or starting to merge and run that club. And so while I was up there for the Duke Carolina game visiting Kyle, Stan, my son is at Duke, but and him and Tony, I'm sure will be rubbing elbows quite a bit.
Awesome.
But yeah, so the one thing I'll always remember about Tony in the 2 little sessions we did together was he's all about going forward, man. You better go forward and make it say none of this falling back bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm totally the same way. It's like, aggressive, think forward.
Sure.
And so 2 instances there where it was like, oh, I like this kid, was kid made a save, and I've got 18 kids and I'm trying to keep it, and he's like, he's got to dive forward. And I'm like, damn right he does. That's right. And then like,
kick his ass, coach.
Yeah, he's got to go forward, man. And then about 10, 15 minutes later, another kid didn't quite do it. And I said, oh, that's pretty near perfect. And he was about to say, but, and I go, that's right, Tony. He's got to go forward, man. He's got to go forward. You know it.
Love it. Love it, man.
Yeah, but no, he's a great kid. I sent him some great videos from England, and I'll be doing some stuff up there. I'll be contacting him to come.
Good.
So anyway, so he's going to do your little kids there, huh?
Yeah, he's going to take over our youth program, and you guys would maybe I think like this. And this is the part that I think is important for us, is that we're not just going to leave Tony up there and his staff, and then we show up when the advanced kids show up. Our older staff, which we don't, I don't like the term board of directors. We don't have that bullshit. We just have a group called Camp Shutout Influence, and it's our
golf cart guys.
Exactly. So those people, me and Dougie and Joe and KK and on, Dadian, will be up there to kind of basically supply bumpers for the event, but Tony will be in charge of all the technical processes, and he's hiring staff, and it's largely going to be one of the things that people don't really see about Camp Shutout, which I really love, is that we're trying to build goalkeeper coaches as well. And so our youth program largely has college kids coaching that. So a 10, 11, 12-year-old should have no problem getting instruction from a 20-year-old. And, they might not be the most experienced coaches yet, but they're learning how to coach. And then the second week, what'll happen is they will be a staff assistant to a staff member. So they'll, over a 9.5 day stretch, they will be a coach, they will be an assistant coach, and they'll have a hell of a lot of grunt work. But we feel we can grow that 150 to 200, 250, 300, and, grow that. And then, go from there. So as long as the goalkeepers that attend feel like they're getting something out of the week, then I have no problem with the number being as large as it is, as long as people aren't walking away going, fuck, that sucked. There was too many people, we concentrate on short lines. We concentrate on activity. We concentrate on being engaged. We concentrate on having some kick-ass fun as well. We bring out a slip and slide, and we don't apologize for it, because they're working their ass off for 3 days before that comes out, and they have a good time for a half hour, and throw themselves down the slip and slide. If you don't want to, no problem as well.
Let's be candid. I mean, in 3 days, how much goalkeeping can you do before it's like, oh my God, I couldn't get enough. But it's like, you need to definitely break it up there with, sounds like a great idea. Slip and slide in the middle of summer.
Exactly.
Dude, what a great idea. Yeah.
Well, it's great. The guy we bring in a guy named Dan Pfeiffer, and he's a friend of mine, and he's the voice of our camp. And so we value the fact that he's a member of our staff, and all he does is play music. He's the MC of every event. He's up on a massive, I don't know what they're called, lift. And he's basically keeping the event ticking. And he's massively important to us. He's as important as one of our coaches, because he helps tie everything together. And when we have competitions, he's making it in a professional competition. It's not just, us yelling, it's 1-1. He's up there saying what the score is and 10 seconds from time, and, all this type of stuff. And so little things like that. But I digressed a little bit, but we think that we can go as high as, 1,000 kids if there's 500 youth that want to be there, and then 500 advanced. And if the facility grows, we'll grow with it. And as long as I'm, making people happy, I hope that, then we'll keep growing.
So we got about, I think, 7 minutes left or so.
I'm loving this, man.
Yeah. I want to ask, what's the difference? The summer road show, the winter road show, and then we got the Big Show. Now, the Big Show, I think most people know the wrestler, but this is the Big Show. So talk about all these road shows, and how did you even start these road shows?
Eric Weiberg. Eric Weiberg's up in Stevens Point, and he called me once and said, I have a goalkeeper. I think she was maybe an 05 birth year or something. Actually, I think she's much, much older. She's probably 35 now or something, but, and he felt he had a really good goalkeeper. We'd never met before. And, I said, well, come on down and take a look, because he had heard about the program, and he was in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and we were at Concordia. And I said, come on down and take a look. And, if she's good, no problem. If she's not, we'll help her either way. So he came down, and he liked what he saw just of our residential big week, the advanced group, Big Show. And so he said, I'd like to get this up in Stevens Point. And so I said, great. So what we decided to do was, one thing that maybe you guys will appreciate is that I know what Dr. Moshnick and Dan and Tony went through in having week over week over week over week over week over week. And I saw the drain and the drain and the drain and the drain. And I thought, we're going to make a decision. And this was back in the 90s, that we're doing 1 week. And that's what we're doing. And that's before, obviously, all the bullshit of, UCNL and GA and DA and MLS Next. And, there you go. And so we just decided, this is how we're going to grow. But what we will do is we'll do a road show. And at its impetus, it was 5 sessions. In the early days, it was over 3 days. So we did 2, 2, and 1. We changed that up and made it 2 days. But then we started just going where there's good energy. So Fulcrum Fives in Cincy, that's where we went because they wanted us there. Grand Rapids, we went there because John Clark wanted us there. We went to Stevens Point because Eric Weiberg wanted us there. We went to Madison because Jameson Kronzer wanted us there. We went to Illinois and Schaumburg because Dougie Cardozi wanted us there. So if there was good energy, let's go. And if there's not good energy, we're not going to go. I mean, it was pretty rocks in the brain simple as far as, okay, well, let's do it. And, if there was one time with one woman who wanted us to do an event out in Santa Cruz in California, and that went south. It never got off the ground. She started messing with my logo, and it went real California real fast.
So before we go, I want to touch on a subject that I don't think a lot of people know that you're involved with, which is Katie Save Foundation.
Oh,
so
man.
I'd like, I know you're humble, but I really want you to talk about it. Like I said, I don't think people know too much about it. So
it's National Suicide Prevention Month as well, right? When I didn't know Katie, I didn't train Katie. I knew the guy who coached her, brought her in, recruited her, won the national championship with her, and then he moved down to Utah. Hideki Nakata, he was a member of our staff, and I watched Katie Meyer win the national championship, and I was like, God damn, man, what an unbelievable talent, and what aura about her. To walk around on that field like when she made the saves like she did and do the whole thing, and it was like, damn, she's special. And I was just so impressed, so impressed. And she changed a little bit of the way I look at the game, because I love it when guys like Steve Clark make a save and they get up and they celebrate it, and I loved seeing what Katie did. And so I took a little bit of that into my particular coaching with my club. And then I obviously heard what happened, and I was shocked, just like everybody here, everybody that's listening, shocked what happened, and perplexed, don't know what happened, why, all the things. And spoke with Todd Holford about it, who knows Ian Foyer, Ian had coached her, and all the I'm trying to just put pieces together because mental health is it's close to me as well, and so I knew that there was obviously something in that realm, and so I decided, you know what, I'm going to get in touch with Steve and Gina, and I just need to get in touch with them. I mean, that's all I knew. I just need to get in touch with them, and I didn't know what I was going to talk to them about, but I just needed to, and so we did. We had a Zoom call, and like my forgetful nature, I'm driving home from Chicago, and I knew what time I needed to be on, but I wasn't near an exit. I'm like, I'll just get to the next one. And then all of a sudden the Zoom call comes on, and I'm in my car, and I'm talking in my car, and then I pull off on like Lake Forest Road or something. And here I am talking with Steve and Gina Meyer. And I'm just so, in that moment, I'm so thankful that I'm talking to them. I'm just thankful because I didn't know anything. I didn't need to ask anything. I was just like, holy shit, what you guys are going through, unreal. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that subject, however they wanted to talk about it, they could go as deep as they wanted. They could go as on surface as they wanted. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted them to share whatever they wanted to share about what happened in front of our platform. And the only reason I feel like our platform, because it's a large gathering of goalkeepers. And so if you have that, I want them to share the message of whatever it was they wanted to share about Katie. If they just wanted to talk about Katie and her career, great. If they wanted to talk about mental health, great. If they wanted to talk about what happened, great. It was off you go. Here you go. You got 45 minutes, whatever it is you want to do. There was not a sound made in the convention center. EV's been in the convention center, holds 500 plus people, parents in the back sitting on tables, kids hugging near the front row. I'm taking pictures behind them because I'm just kind of, almost like, wow. What am I experiencing? What a privilege I have to have Steve and Gina talking about something so massively important. And whether people believe it or not, and I assume you guys are on this page, and I so appreciate the question, Greg, is that goalkeepers go through enough. And to have somebody like those two talk to them, it was just a fucking difference maker. It just made a difference. And if it made a difference in one person in our room, great. But more importantly, if it made a difference at that time for Steve and Gina, then even better. And that's all I was concerned with. That's how it happened. And we have since decided that we're going to do in perpetuity a scholarship in Katie's name. I'll pay for it. I don't, however it happens, we're just going to have somebody that they choose. They can come from wherever. They can come from China. They can come from California. They can come from Racine, Wisconsin. I don't care where they come from. And boom, it'll be forevermore that there will be a Katie Save scholarship recipient. And Claire B. Brockert was that person this year. And 50 to 100 applications that came through to them. And damn, man.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's very special to you. I think if you're on your website, there's a lot of information about it. Obviously, Ryan's put up where you can donate.
It's awesome.
Pay, things like that. So thank you for sharing all that. Two things. One, Ryan wants to talk about a camper, Maddie Osborne.
Oh.
Share a little insight. And then I'm going to ask one more question, and I'm going to turn it back to Pat and Eric.
Damn, you're good, Greg. You're good, man. I'm over here ready to fucking cry. Jesus, Maddie's a badass. She needs to be more of a badass, but she's really, really good, really, really athletic. She's grown physically, mentally over time. She's out of Wisconsin. Nebraska flew in to recruit her, put her through some paces, and it was a family affair. Myself, Tony, and Tank, my son, my field playing son, all went out to a facility to help kind of showcase her. And their goalkeeper coach in Nebraska's came to take a look at her, and ultimately went forward with Maddie, who's freaking awesome. And right now she's as small of a world as this is. She's playing behind Cece Villa, who is the goalkeeper at Nebraska, who's at least played. I don't know that Cece's the present number one or what have you, but Maddie's a freshman, and she's got a bright future ahead of her. I just we all pick nuance and different things that we want for our goalkeepers to achieve, maybe things that we saw that we want this goalkeeper to do. And if EV saw something in Bushy, but he wanted more out of Bushy, he'd ask more out of Bushy. And so my ask out of Maddie is to be a little bit more of a badass and have a little bit more venom in her game, because she's one of the nicest human beings alive. And I'd like her to have a little bit more nasty and a little bit more understanding that, I'm playing right now. My time here is limited in whatever window this is. And my competition level has got to be as high as it can be every single day to earn that spot. And then I'd like to close the door. And, that's what I'd love for her to get. She has all the ability in the world. She comes from a fantastic freaking family. Mom and dad are awesome. They're just people who get it. There's no bullshit with them. They just get it. And to have a daughter or a son, it doesn't matter, that also just gets it. It's just, that's what we all want. We just want somebody that gets it, that you spend time with, and it makes your job more enjoyable. And so anytime I shared the field with Maddie, it was just a kick-ass time, because she just gets it. And love every ounce of her.
All right, so my last question, and this pertains to your sessions. So we all know about ball handling and low dives and extensions and distribution. So you have a session called Stan's Game.
Yeah.
So I want to sort of end this on the Stan's Game. What is it? When do you pick it? I mean, I know it, but most people don't, because I read about it. But delve into this a little bit. I see you're smiling, so it sounds like it's a lot of fun.
It is because you got to have some competition. I think you got to have some competition throughout the week as well in our environment, and so we do. And what happened was I was at Marquette, David Check, Charlie Lyon, two great goalkeepers. Charlie's up on this wall, and he played in MLS for a while and had a good career. He's now a fireman out in Arizona or California. And anyway, at Marquette, we did no indoor facility. We didn't have the bubble that they have now. We had no place to train indoors. And so no turf, no nothing. And so we were literally on basketball courts, and we had goals, but we had a basketball court. That was it. So we had soccer balls, goals, and a basketball court. That lays out the essence of the structure of the game, the touch lines, the end lines, and the arc. So what happens is we're playing the game and we decide, okay, we're going to play 2v2 inside on a basketball court. And it's the best way for these guys to compete right now. And so we decided, you know what? Everybody else puts their fucking name on something. So this is going to be called Stan's Game, because we came up with it. So I don't know where it'll go, but right now it's called Stan's Game. So we decided we're gonna play and give it a go. And the evolution was, if you just scored a goal, you got 2 points. What we asked of the game was for range extension. So it was basically a training component to exercise your range extension. That if I took a shot from the other end of the basketball court and it was going to land inside that 3-point arc, regardless of where the goal was, obviously you want to keep the ball out of the net, but you don't want that ball to bounce inside that 3-point arc. So you've got to do whatever you can to extend your range to either catch it, secure it, claim it, or parry it away so it doesn't land inside the arc. So the ways you could score were 1 point if it landed inside the arc. So obviously that's quality distribution, accurate out of hand, accurate off the deck. If you can ping an area and hit it, that's a point. If you can just score the goal against 2 goalkeepers, hey, good on you as well. And then the other way that to score, which was, you'd never want, especially with 2 goalkeepers in front of a goal, is you could hit the surface and score the goal, which gave you 3 points. So while I don't like all this, kind of bullshit 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, it kind of made sense in the game. And so that worked out, and that was our scoring. And then we decided, okay, let's give it a shot as a competition. And if the kids like it, then great. If they don't, we won't do it, So then there's Tony right there. And that's right there is Stan's game. And so you got 2v2 and you got a 3-point arc in front of you. It's from the basketball court. And that's what it is. And so if the ball is going wide, there's plenty of times where you would want to alligator arm that save and let it go off the end line and not touch it. In this particular game, you're just extending your range. That's what you're training to do. So that's why we do it. We don't ask them to do that all the time. If it's a back pass off the end line, a deflection or something, obviously you want to keep that ball. But if the opposing team is sending it 5 yards wide of your goal, let it go. But that's really what it was and is, and it hasn't really evolved. It's stayed the same in rule construction, and the kids seem to really enjoy it. And our staff helped make it, certainly the finals and semifinals and things, they make it a fun environment in which to compete. But the game itself, that's really what it is at its core.
Super. Well,
See how I brought
so
the core
much.
back in? I brought the core right back. I brought everything back with Carolina core.
Yeah. Isn't that film, right?
I'm going to go back to you at headquarters in Baltimore.
I'm muted.
No, we got you.
Oh, we got it? Okay, we're back?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, first of all, Stan, thank you very much. This has been more fun than we deserve. And it's as we've said many times, it's always good to talk goalkeeping.
Yes.
I will tell you guys just a short Azteca story, okay? The first professional soccer match I ever watched was at Azteca Stadium.
Really?
Yes, because that's how I learned how to play goal.
Wow.
Let's be honest, in the early 70s in Exeter, New Hampshire, there weren't a whole lot of goalkeeping gurus. And so my dad, as you guys know, was a pilot, and one of his routes was Mexico City.
Wow.
Several times I got to fly in the jump seat with him down to Mexico City, and they would stay there for a couple of days because this was the old days. This wasn't like, Southwest where you get off the plane and the next people get on and they go. The guy who used to pick up the crews and take them to the hotel was a huge Club America fan.
Really?
Yes, and he could get tickets to the games.
Oh,
so what I would do is my dad and I would sit, like you were talking about, Stan, 15 rows behind the goal.
Yeah.
And we'd go early so we could watch warm-ups. And I'd watch these guys play, and then I'd go back to my kickboard back in Exeter, New Hampshire by myself and try to do everything I saw those goalkeepers doing.
It's awesome.
Right? Yeah. So, and it is an unbelievable stadium. I mean, well, let me put it this way. Azteca Stadium at the time was bigger than all of Exeter, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
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 So there you go. But anyway.
Yes.
That's my little side story. I can tell people this, and I'm proud to do it. I'm proud to have you as a friend, but more importantly, it's good to have a coach in any sport whose basis is their heart.
Yeah.
And that's you.
Oh, man.
Okay. Because if you don't have that heart, you don't have things like Katie's saves. You don't have that glove wall behind you. Okay. You don't. I always have told people this. I kind of graded my coaching abilities on how many weddings I was invited to.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's always been, the most important. And Hank used to tell us, and Bone, you know this, Hank used to tell us, listen, if you go out every day and play your best, winning will become a byproduct. And winning's important for coaching, but more importantly is to play your best. The people that lead you and teach you how to play your best, I believe, are coaches with heart, and I believe that's Stan Anderson.
Oh, man. Dude, Oof.
Don't worry, Stan. I haven't spoken yet. I'll bring you back to earth.
I appreciate the brevity. Oh, wow.
The Reverend has spoken, Stan. Holy.
That's awesome.
Dude, wow. You know where I hold you, EV. I can remember going to you at the convention and just like I wanted to get a picture with this guy. Because I didn't know you, but I knew of Eric Vaughter. It was like the Eric Vaughter. And, to be here today and talking with you guys and UEV is, that's, wow.
Well, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. What were you going to say, Pat?
I was just kidding, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But if you're done, just a couple points and
I'm finished.
Okay. So you are now Azteca Stan, by the way.
There we go. I like it. I'll take it.
Two things about the Azteca Stan. That's the first World Cup game I ever saw live. Awesome. And I've been to somewhere between 50 and 100.
That's awesome.
I've lost count. And I was at the Hand of God match.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
In my book, by the way. But anyway, but yeah, it's an impressive place. But listen, just to pile on with the good vibrations here. I mean, the kids that have been to your camp, they can't say enough about it. The parents, it's like, man, this is the mecca of goalkeeping. And if you can get in, etc. I mean, so whatever you're doing for everything, like I said, word on the street is you're smashing it, dude. And I will be in touch with you. I have a smaller operation. I try to be more like the Navy SEALs version of goalkeeping and all of that. But I want to definitely just under the radar. This will be the only time it's mentioned publicly. But I got a spot for a Katie Saves kid in my games as well too. So
great.
I'll be in touch. And you got a great kid, buddy. Great kid.
I truly appreciate that, and I appreciate that about Tony as well. My hope is with Katie, and I've asked Todd Holford to consider it, and he did. And I've asked Ryan Goda-Thompson to consider it, and he did. Sounds like you're doing it, Pat. I think everybody that is around goalkeepers could benefit by sharing Katie's story and who she was and what she did and what they're doing. And as a 28-year college coach, I think it's fucking bullshit that college campuses don't have somebody on campus that can reach out to an advocate when somebody is hurting or somebody's done something wrong or they've screwed up somehow like 18-year-olds do. And nowadays they hide under some bullshit guys that they're 18 and they're adults and they've got to handle their own problems. And I think that's, I think it's bullshit. And I know that programs, universities, high level Power 4 universities do it. And, the fact that you can't find this person that sent Katie the email on her final day, you can't find her on anywhere except maybe on LinkedIn, tells you enough about what some college administrators and how they view their jobs. The number one thing that should be done is to take care of students in your care. And if they have an issue or a problem or something, treat it as an opportunity to help make them better, and don't go the route that Stanford did. And I don't give a shit about what Stanford thinks about what I say. At the end of the day, it's wrong. And I wish universities would hop on the train of making sure that if you screw up on Friday night somewhere, that they've chosen an advocate and they want to reach out to Eric Vaughter or Stan Anderson or anybody else, then God damn it, they should be able to. Somebody should be able to make sure that somebody is saved in that situation, as opposed to thinking, oh, well, they're an adult and we shouldn't, we don't have to get in touch with anybody. Let's do the right thing, and not the thing that the law says to do. Do what's right.
Right on, brother. Right on.
Thanks, guys, man. This has been freaking great. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome.
This has been goalkeeping from the heart. There you go.
Oh, man.
Oh, Ryan, there's the title. Now, Stan, we expect at least 650 people to listen to this show.
Hey,
it should be
I'm
the
gonna
highest
do my
rated.
I'm gonna do
Ryan,
my damnedest.
Ryan, you want to pipe in?
You know what?
You know, he's humble and all that, but 500, we need all those listeners.
Maven, I need to talk into the mic on this one. If we want ratings, let's call Aiden Heaney.
There you go. There you go. Hey, I'm gonna share the hell out of this. I absolutely will, across any and all platforms. I think it's great. I think what you guys do is great. I love that logo. I got to get myself a T-shirt or a hat that has that Three Old Goalies podcast on it.
Me too, Stan. I need one.
There you go. Merch.
That's right. Maybe we could do a trade. How about this? I'll get you a Three Old Goalies shirt. You give me a Camp Shutout shirt that I can wear to my training sessions down here in Cincinnati.
You got it. What size?
Fat boy. You got to give me that 3X. Yeah.
You got it. You got it. It's not
what size do you
boy.
want?
That's a fat boy. It's just a couple extra X's. That's all.
That's right. Well, I call them the fat boy size. The 4X is the Canadian size. Yeah.
I'd love to get the sizes for all of you guys. Send them to one location or send them to Ryan or whoever I need to send them to, but I'd like to send everybody one. So
that'd be great.
If we can do that, and that'd be great.
Well, I'll collect all the addresses and we can go from there. We'll send you an email with everybody's contact info. Greg and I can get ours in the same place because we meet up every once in a while, so it'll make life a little easier.
Fantastic. And I'll leave it with wherever this is shared. We'll put it on Instagram, I guess. Maybe the best link, maybe on the Facebook page. I'll send out a box of our best sponsor this year, or our most unique sponsor, Dude Wipes. I'll send out a box of Dude Wipes to the best sponsor.
Yeah, Dude Wipes. Look at
there. We go.
Ori with some Dude Wipes.
Dude Wipes. You know what? Dude Wipes for Three Old Goalies is pretty apropos.
There you go. There you go. That young man just committed to Loyola, and he was our number one goalkeeper this summer.
Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
Because he used Dude Wipes.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
All right, Stan. Well, thanks again. It's been great, and we appreciate it. And we got to get you back on as camp season gets closer. And
awesome.
You need to do. I'm sure you got one, but you need to do like on those fundraising thermometer things they got.
Yeah.
We're up to 250, and then the next week we're up to 350, and
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you tremendously. I really, really loved this. You freaking brought me to tears and you made me smile. So today's a good day, as Jimmy V says, right?
That's right.
Right. That's right.
All right, guys. Thank
you.
Talk to you later. See ya.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Three Old Goalies podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, follow us on social media, and, if you can, give us a 5-star review. Can't get enough? Check us out online at threeoldgoalies.com. See you next time.